This is NBK, nothing but Knicks. When Sim pass the assist, you know that it's #1 show that breaks down the game. If you can't play defense, stay out my way. Dribble the ball, come down the lane. 5 seconds on the shot clock, who gon' win us the game? You wanna hear Nick updates and trade rumors? Post-game reviews, this the place you tune in. So tell a friend just to keep the ball moving. Like the page if you feeling the movement. Every game we coming to win. Give us a sob like a player that came off the bench. This is NBK, nothing but Knicks.
Knicks family, what's poppin'? It's your boy. Ladies and gentlemen, the New York Knicks take on the Detroit Pistons tonight, where they'll try to win their 3rd in a row for the first time this season. And as a matter of fact, I think this will be the first back-to-back. If they win tonight, it'll be their first time winning back-to-back this season. So we're going to break this game down. I got Andy in the building, Tony Crow in the building, and we're going to go ahead and jump right into it, ladies and gentlemen. Tony Crow, what's popping with you, bro? How you feeling?
What's good, Sim? I got jump started today. Salute to Uncle Freezy. I was over there getting jumped by him and his minions. So I'm ready to go.
Yeah, no doubt. Andy is glad. I'm glad to have you back, man. Glad you're healthy and everything. Glad to have you back. How you feeling?
Yeah, happy to be back. I was thinking you're going to play Mace Welcome Back on the intro. Yeah, but like you said, I'm happy to be back with you guys. So
Yeah, I'm glad to be back. And I want to let everybody know, everybody from last night who was on the game preview last night, I do want to let you know that the checks from Tom Thibodeau, Julius Randle, and RJ Barrett, all of them cleared. All of them cleared. So, if you hear more love for Tom Thibodeau, Julius Randle, RJ Barrett, don't be surprised because their checks cleared this morning. So it's all good. Just letting you guys know that. Just letting you guys know that. Anyway, tonight the Knicks take on the Pistons. The Pistons have a lot of players out due to health and safety protocol. The Pistons aren't a good team anyway, but all of their guys are out. Not all of them, but a lot of them, just like the Minnesota Timberwolves. So the Knicks are coming into a game that is very, very similar to the way, to the game they played last night against a team who's ravished by COVID. So let's start with the Knicks injury report, then we'll get to the Detroit Pistons. For the New York Knicks, Daniel House Jr., he's out, not due to COVID, but due to a right dislocated finger. Matt Mooney, he's not with the team. Nerlens Noel continues to be out. Derrick Rose continues to be out with a right ankle surgery recovery. Wayne Selden, he's out due to health and safety protocol. Jericho Sims is out due to health and safety protocols. So 2 rotation players are out for the New York Knicks, Nerlens Noel and Derrick Rose. Everybody else is getting back healthy. Right, Miles McBride. There's a lot of discussion last night about whether or not Miles McBride will take some minutes from Kemba Walker. We'll get a better idea tonight. Tonight would be the time to do it, right? The second leg of a back-to-back. Give Kemba Walker some rest so he can rest those arthritic knees and let Miles McBride get a little bit of burn. We'll see if Tom Thibodeau chooses to do so. As for the Detroit Pistons, you see the list right there of guys they got out. Cade Cunningham, he's out due to health and safety protocols. Jeremiah Grant, he's out from a right thumb sprain. Killian Hayes, he's out due to health and safety protocols. Josh Jackson, he's out due to health and safety protocols. Corey Joseph is out. Saban Lee is out. Isaiah Livers is out. Trey Lyles is out. I don't know how much those guys play. Rodney McGruder is out. Kelly Olynyk, he's out to a left knee sprain. Then you got Chris Smith. He's returning to competition, reconditioning right now. He may play. We'll see. Isaiah Stewart, he's out due to health and safety protocols.
Do you have any idea who they picked up for these games?
I don't know, but they got
even 5 guys to start the game.
That sounds like 10 guys.
Man, I mean, they got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 players out.
See, that would be the 7 Magic NBA number, 17 on the roster. So 12 out, 5 to go.
5 to go, right? You know what I mean? That's a whole heck of a lot of players who are out. You know what I mean? So obviously they had to pick up some players just so that they can field a team, put a team out there on the floor. Let me see. I'm going to run down who they played or who was on the floors when they played the San Antonio Spurs on Sunday. All right, when they played the Spurs on Sunday, they had Amadou Diallo, Sadiq Bey, Luka Garza, Derek Walton Jr., Frank Jackson, Chet Diallo, Cassius Stanley, Jamarco Pickett. I don't want to butcher this guy's name. Dievitas Servidia. That's who they had. So, you know, they picked up some players to put out there on the floor. You know, that's a tough go at it for the Detroit Pistons. A lot of guys out, man. A whole lot of guys out. And, of course, people are going to say, well, the Knicks should really run through these guys. But you seen last night with the Minnesota Timberwolves, when these guys are coming into the league on 10-day contracts or whatever it is, they're playing for their career. You know what I mean? So, you know, for some of them, they got that feeling of, you know, it's life or death out here. You know, I'm either going to be proving myself right now or I might be in the unemployment line. You know what I mean? So these guys are coming out and playing hard. It's a game that the Knicks, by all means, should win this basketball game. There's no doubt about it. They should win it. But they can't fall asleep. They can't fall asleep at the wheel. You know what I mean? Because if you fall asleep at the wheel, you might be in trouble if you do so. You know what I'm saying? Just any quick thoughts, Tony, about the injury lists?
I've never seen that many players out on one team. There's no game planning for them, so that's one thing to be concerned with.
Yeah.
You don't know tendencies of anybody. But I expect this to be a fairly one-sided game in our favor. And anything else is a disappointment.
Okay, I get that. They got some guys who's stepping up and hooping, but I agree with you. I think it should be a one-sided affair tonight. But these are the New York Knicks we're talking about. Andy, any thoughts?
Yes, Sim. It's like you said, Sim. I think it's going to be really, really one-sided. Listen, this should be like a pickup game for an NBA team versus a pickup, game. I realize that they got Garza, which they drafted. They got Sadiq Bey, which is stepping up big times. But still, Sim, listen, these are only few NBA players. Several of these guys, a week ago weren't in the league even. And weren't even considered if not this health and safety protocols, right? So they're basically, how much can you learn of the offense? There's no cohesion there. There's no cohesion on defense. So they're just going to be playing, 1-versus-1 basketball probably most of the time. I think if we step up our defense, individually, I think this should be a fairly easy game, like Tony said.
Yeah. Steph?
Yeah, I agree. And I agree with Tone that I would be very disappointed, either Tone or one of you said it. I would be very disappointed if it's a nail biter. Like I know we've been playing injured teams and teams that's not that great, but we're trying to get our stride. And when you're trying to get your stride, you're basically focusing on what you need to do game in and game out, offensively and defensively. And if we struggle with this team, the little bit of hope that I have right now is going to go out the window.
Right.
The hope that we're turning it around, I should say.
Right. Do you care at all that we played last night, or do you think
Not
it
at
really
all.
should be a non-factor? This is a team that they should just come out and dominate.
Non-factor, and we're deep as well. We're deep as
right.
well. So, if there are issues about players being tired, you could limit some players' minutes, play other, players a bit more. But no, they should be used to playing back to backs.
Yeah. And the Knicks haven't won a back-to-back at all this year, have they? I mean, last night was the first time they won 2 in a row since November.
Really?
Yeah. I believe since November, since they've won 2 in a row, I believe. So, yeah, they need to get this, and it'll be 3 in a row if they do get it, but I mean, listen, from Minnesota to Detroit, that's an hour's travel by plane or less. It shouldn't be much for them. They did play a tough game last night, but like you said, we do have players on the bench. We got people back from health and safety protocol. Tom Thibodeau has to use them, though. Yeah, he's got to utilize them.
Right.
If he doesn't utilize them, then, he's asking for it. You know what I mean? Because you could see last night, he pulled Obi Toppin out early last night in that second half, but Julius Randle was gassed before the end of the third quarter. He was gassed. He wasn't making defensive rotations. Maybe that's just him anyway, but I'm looking at it and saying he was gassed as part of the reason why he wasn't making those defensive rotations.
He's been gassed all season, Sam.
Yeah,
he's looked tired all season.
Yeah, he has. I don't know what it is. You know what I'm saying? But he's definitely been looking tired all season long. But you know what? Hey, I'm gonna earn my paycheck from Julius Randle since last night. Steph, everybody said I'm getting paid by Julius Randle, so I'm gonna go ahead and earn my paycheck. I'm gonna earn my paycheck. All right.
Oh, I must be on the payroll too, and Josh.
Right. I'm gonna earn my paycheck. It's probably him staying up late with the baby. So I'm gonna put that one out there. I'm earning my paycheck today. Sorry, ladies and gentlemen. Let's take a look at the projected starting lineups for tonight. For the New York Knicks, Kemba Walker, Evan Fournier, R.J. Barrett, Julius Randle, and Mitchell Robinson. And then for the Detroit Pistons, you have Frank Jackson Jr., Derek Walton Jr., Amadou Diallo, Sadiq Bey, and Luka Garza. All right, a lot of names that you haven't heard of. Doesn't mean that they're not going to come out and ball, though. Right, in the last game, I think Amadou Diallo in his last game had 28 points. Sadiq Bey had 23 points. They lost 144 to whatever they lost, 109 or something like that. And they got blasted by San Antonio Spurs. You know what I'm saying? But, they had some guys who was going out there trying to put up some numbers. Go ahead, Tony. You about to say something?
No, I was reacting to the score you said they got blown out by.
Yeah. Chris Johnson said, how long are we going to use the baby excuse? All season? Hey, as long as he keeps paying me, I'm going to use it. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, you're watching the Game Day pregame show. For all of your up-to-date sports content and betting odds, make sure you check out the Game Day. The Knicks play at 7 p.m. tonight. So you have some time to get your bets in if you want to get them in. So now you can go to the Game Day. You can check out all of your different betting platforms, see what the odds are, and make your informed decision about how to make that little bit of change. You know what I mean? Anyway, let's go ahead. Let's talk about these lineups and the matchups. Let's talk about Kemba Walker and Frank Jackson Jr. Last night, Kemba Walker, he was coming off of a hot streak. Didn't play as well last night, at least, from the floor. He had some defenders on him. Patrick Beverley played some defense on him. As you know, Patrick Beverley's going to get under your skin. You know what I mean? Also, not only Patrick Beverley, but Jordan McLaughlin. Both of those guys kind of played some time on Kemba Walker. Last night, Kemba Walker had 10 points, 4 rebounds, 2 assists. Shot 3 for 11 from the field. He did shoot 43% from the three-point line. What's your take, Tony? Kemba Walker versus Frank Jackson Jr.
Yeah, I got to go with Kemba. He's, like you said, been on a hot stretch. Cooled off a little bit last game, but well, I actually don't expect to see a lot of minutes from Kemba tonight. To be honest, I'm hoping to see some Deuce, but I'll still go with that matchup with Kemba, but it's going to be limited, so you got to take that into effect with the box score. I'll say that.
Yeah. Legion and Knicks said Kemba got exposed by an aggressive guard defender and aggressive help defense hedging on screens by the Wolves. I agree. I think that, their physical defense did, I don't want to say rattle them, but had an effect last night. Kemba also, he can get trapped on the sideline. Part of it is his small stature, but if you force him to the sideline and teams are trapping, he can get trapped over there. And I think we have a hard time getting out of those traps when he does get trapped there. I know Tom Thibodeau in his post-game said he did a good job getting out of traps or passing before the traps got there, but I seen him get trapped a few times, and I felt like we had some trouble with it when he did. So I want to watch that, pay attention to that. You know what I mean? Andy, do you think Miles McBride, and then you can give me your thoughts on Kemba Walker and Frank Jackson Jr., do you think Miles McBride takes some minutes away from Kemba Walker tonight so that he can get some rest?
Yes, that's actually the game plan that I would have if I was Tibbs. If he's not going to find minutes for Miles McBride versus a team like the Pistons, which in full strength are, leading the draft board, let's call it that way. So even if they're like decimated by these protocols and all other injuries, if he can get, burned in a game like this on a back-to-back, to save Kemba's knees, listen, I'm going to try to ensure that Tibbs is trying to, get Kemba, out of the rotation by getting him on the injury list. So that's my only idea. If, Kemba's going to be playing around 30 minutes, it's going to be way too much for me.
Okay, yeah. I agree with you. He's going up against a guy. I know we don't know who Frank Jackson Jr. is like that. But his previous game versus the San Antonio Spurs, he had 17 points, 2 assists, 2 rebounds. He was 7 for 19 from the field. He was 2 for 5 from the three-point line. So he is going up against a guy who, can play a little bit of basketball at least. You know what I'm saying? Steph, are you worried at all about the matchup, Frank Jackson and Kemba Walker?
Not really. I mean, the only thing that gives me pause is that he put up 17 shots. So this is somebody who's active in the offensively,
right?
And so Kemba is going to have to play him, right? This is not somebody that's just moving the ball around, right? He's, he's shooting, he's driving. However, he's, whatever he's doing, he's getting up 17 shots. But Kemba is a veteran. I expect that he'll be ready. To Andy's point, there is some concerns. Like Tibbs doesn't seem to take minutes into account, right? You saw how many minutes Rose got when, before he put Kemba back in the rotation and we was missing guys. Instead of putting Kemba back in the rotation, he just upped his minutes, So I'm not sure this game if he's going to take, Kemba's minutes and his knees into account and bring McBride in to keep his minutes down. I'm not sure. I think it would be the prudent thing to do, but I'm not sure he does it.
Right.
Hopefully Kemba speaks up.
I don't think
Kemba's not going to.
He's going to ask for getting benched.
Let him on minutes.
Kemba is. Kemba like, shit, I want to get on the floor. If he going to put me out there, I'm playing.
Yeah. Tony,
I asked for that. I might be back out the rotation.
Right.
Yo, Tony, that would be the biggest joke of the next season this year if Kemba asked Tibbs to go on the bench, bro. Tibbs would be like, bro, I gotta record this thing because he wanted to get benched.
Right, exactly. Frank Jackson in his last 5 games, 12 points, 3 points, 19 points, 17 points. They don't have anybody, so somebody has to shoot. So, and I see someone in the chat just said that. Darren Wayne said somebody has to score. But that's the problem, too. Somebody has to score, so someone's going to take shots. And the issue is You don't know these guys.
Don't
You
know
don't know
their
their tendencies,
tendencies,
like Tony was saying earlier. So you don't know what they might do.
Right.
All right, Frank Jackson is 6'3", a little bit bigger than Kemba. So I think that's a matchup to watch.
Yeah.
Next matchup, Evan Fournier and Derek Walton Jr. I mean, Derek Walton Jr., he's not a big scorer or anything like that. I think Evan Fournier should win this matchup. You never know, but I think he should win this matchup.
Yeah.
I mean, Evan Fournier's been playing more aggressive lately. He looks like he's getting, just more confident in what he should be doing out there on the floor. Derek Walton Jr. is averaging, he's played so far not many games. He's played one game with the Pistons. He had 5 shot attempts, so he's new out there. So, I'm not expecting much from the guy. Now, who knows? He could have a hot night, but I don't think so. I think that Evan Fournier should win this matchup. And matter of fact, Evan Fournier could really be the key because he does have a guy. I don't know how well of a defender Derek Walton Jr. is, but because he has a guy that's, getting into the league, hasn't been around a lot, maybe Evan Fournier is due to have a good one tonight.
Yeah.
What do you think, Steph?
Listen, Fournier has been doing all the right things, in my opinion. He's been very aggressive. He hasn't been passing up shots. And that's what we need. You're going to hit him some days and some days you're not, but you need to take him. And that puts pressure on the defense as well when they know that you're going to shoot the ball. You're not going to pass it. He's also been doing a good job putting the ball on the floor, going to the hole. That works for us as well. So I think he's rounding in the shape, so to speak. He's still not great defensively, but neither is this team, So I think he wins this matchup. Again, I don't know much about this guy. I got to be honest. But if Fournier is Fournier, he should win the matchup.
Yeah. Any other thoughts, Andy, Tony?
Listen, I think Fournier plays and not only plays, but also makes his shots. We saw that last game at the beginning of the game. The ball moved. The passes were crisp, in motion, with energy, and he made those shots. I realized that you got to make, open shots whenever in the NBA, but when he's in rhythm, it's like plus 10% on the percentages, for him to make that shot. If he has that, shot that, he had to stutter or, look for the defender, do any kind of movement or stuff like that, the percentage goes way down with Fournier. We know that before the season that he's a streaky shooter also. Sometimes he's going to make really bad shots, but he also doesn't take that many bad shots. When you watch the whole game, maybe like 1 or 2 shots were like, you could have, pulled back or passed the ball. But the rest of the shots, he squares up, he takes that shots. Now he added those floaters that he was using with Team France and, with other teams, with the Magic even. So, those floaters and him passing his guy on the first step and breaking down the defense for the Knicks is also, a big thing. I don't know if probably because, Knicks fan base, I think that the scapegoat for this season might not only be Randall, but Fournier is really high up the ladder there. So, they're looking for someone to blame these losses. And I really hear that Fournier is getting, plenty of, blames. But I don't know if you guys see how he distributes the ball around the team. He was the first man passing to Mitch. And I noted this till game 5, nobody passed him the ball, under the rim. But Fournier was the first guy. And now, last game, we saw him passing to RJ. He knew that he has, a bad shooting night. And he passed the ball in the third and the fourth quarter to RJ for him, for the open 3 in the corner. RG made that, then he went into the layup. I think he's looking for creating better shots for the rest of the team more than we notice. So I think that's really a good thing as far as Fournier goes.
Okay. All right. Next matchup: RJ Barrett and Amadou Diallo. This is a matchup that I'm concerned about. I'm I'm concerned about this matchup big time. Amadou Diallo plays with a lot of energy. He's uber confident. You know, he has good nights, off nights, but you know, he's a guy that can light it up. I'm concerned about this matchup. You know what I mean?
Too.
I'm really concerned about it because he had 28 points against the San Antonio Spurs in his previous game, and you know, he could be starting to hit a hot streak or something. But like we said, somebody has to score, and he's gonna have the ball in his hands a lot. Yeah, I'm really concerned about this matchup. Tony, what's your thoughts on this matchup here?
This is the matchup I'm looking forward to the most. I think being that Amadou has probably more freedom than he's ever had in his career. He's already an aggressive guy. I think that's a good matchup for RJ defensively. A good challenge for him defensively. Especially coming off last game, getting in foul trouble early, so you gotta be mindful as well. But I also think RJ should take that challenge on the opposite end, and you might see a super aggressive RJ as well, where he's trying to go back at him, and you might see it like kind of something out of the ordinary, but not in a bad way. I'm encouraged to see him maybe try to take it right back at him. Use that strength.
Yeah, Steph, I seen you shaking your head. You have some thoughts about this matchup?
Yeah. I mean, I agree with you. Diallo, they're a depleted team. Somebody has to take the shots. He's going to be uber aggressive. I'm pretty sure he wants to show that he deserves more minutes because when they're at full strength, I don't think he gets a lot of minutes. Right. So he's going to be ready tonight. And RJ, this is maybe his third game coming off of protocol. But even before protocol, I don't think RJ's been playing his best compared to last year, right? So this is going to be a challenge for him. You know, if I had to choose, just concentrate on Diallo. You know, like if you don't shoot much, if it comes to you when you have an open shot, take it. But if you could just focus on Diallo, I'm good this game.
Yeah.
I think this is a matchup he can go to the basket though, attack the basket and really use his strength against Diallo. He's not. Diallo. I don't even think he's bigger than RJ as far as height. I'm not sure, but I don't think he's as tall as RJ, and he's not stronger. So I think RJ could actually use that and take. I don't know. It's gonna come down to IQ because those aggressive guys. You know what I mean? It's kind of easy to kind of use that aggression against them if you're savvy enough.
Right.
Okay.
I mean, the issue with RJ isn't even the driving; it's the finishing.
Right.
It's the finishing.
Right. Amadou Diallo in his last 4 games, 15 points, 10 points, 12 points, 28 points. You know, and each game he's taking more shots. You know, so he's feeling more comfortable being, that guy or trying to be that guy. He's not that guy. I think in the moment when everyone is out, I think Sadiq Bey is that guy on this team right now. And we're going to talk about him in just a second. But yeah, I'm definitely concerned about this matchup. Andy, do you have any thoughts on this matchup?
Yeah, except, adding to what Steph and Tony said, I think isn't Diallo also from New York? Maybe, he's going to have that extra chip on his shoulder, just to play versus the Knicks, even though the game is in Detroit. But, he knows that New York fans are going to be watching. So maybe that's going to be also, an extra thing for him.
Yeah. Amadou Diallo is 6'5", 202 pounds.
Yeah, RJ. Right. Use that muscle, boy.
Yeah. And then I'm going to skip over. I'm going to come back to Julius Randle and Sadiq Bey. Mitchell Robinson and Luka Garza. Mitchell Robinson, I think he's got to do what he did again last night. I'm not expecting 14 and 18. But if he can be active, attack the glass, especially the offensive glass, the way he did last night, it's only going to help the Knicks. And this should be a lineup, another team that he can dominate as far as rebounding is concerned. I really like the way that Mitch was grabbing rebounds in traffic last night. He doesn't always do that, in my opinion. I thought he did a really good job grabbing rebounds in traffic, playing through physical play, being aware and just quick on his feet. And part of that, like he said, is due to him just getting in better shape. Hopefully he continues that aggression tonight. But this guy, Luka Garza, I don't know much about him. He finally played 20 minutes in a game last night versus not last night, but on the 26th versus the San Antonio Spurs. He had 20 points, 6 rebounds. He shot 50% from the field. He shot 40% from the three-point line.
Yeah, I was going to say he's known for being a three-point shooter. So
Yeah.
You know, he's 6'10", 243 pounds. You know, so, you know, this could be a little bit of a different look for Mitch than what he's seen last night. This guy can go out on the perimeter. He's shooting 34.6% from the three-point line for the season and 46.5% from the field for the season. He normally only plays about 9 minutes a game, got 20 minutes against the Spurs, scored 20 points. It could be something to watch because he might go out on the perimeter and try to drag Mitchell Robinson out the paint, which could lessen his amount of defensive rebounds, you know, and make the game a little bit more difficult. We'll see. Andy, your thoughts on this? It sounds like you know a little bit more about Luka Garza.
Yes, and I remember watching his highlights and you know, scouting reports before the draft. So yeah, he looks strong. His body is, you know, filled out properly for the NBA, I should say, and he's stepping out to make that three. So you know, we gotta expect him take those shots probably also early in the game, and if those first couple of 2-3 shots go in, Mitch has to respect that shot because he's going to, you know, take those shots with the guys that are on the roster and are going to be on the court. You know, he's going to get a couple of, you know, attempts at least up. So we can't afford, you know, a game like Miles Turner had versus us that he's going to be making shots and Mitch is going to be camping in the paint, just, you know, waiting for the rebound. So I hope, you know, Mitch at least steps out and contests those threes.
Yeah. Any other thoughts on this matchup?
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, when we played Miles Turner, this was the same starting lineup. And Mitch was hedging a lot. I don't know if that was the game plan or if he was hedging a lot just because of the perimeter defense or lack thereof. I mean, if that's the case, that may be an issue today. So, you know, hopefully, like we talked about the second time he saw Miles Turner, you know, maybe you do give him that space. But if he start hitting it, then you do have to move up. You have to guard him closer, and you just have to hope that they'll be able to take care of any penetration behind you. The thing with Garza is he can also play in the post. He could do both. You know, he can do both. And he's pretty strong. He lost a lot of weight between his senior year. That was the concern his senior year. I think it was Iowa. He lost a lot of weight. So the last time I saw him, he looked pretty good in terms of, you know, how in shape he was body-wise, his body composition. So Mitch lost weight. I don't know if this was the best time to do. I mean, he needed to because he just wasn't playing well. Didn't seem to be handling it. He's much more nimble, but Garza will be leaning on him. So we'll see because you can still lose weight and keep your strength. So let's see.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, Steph's pretty much said everything I was thinking. Yeah, I mean, the only advantage I think Mitch definitively has right now is his verticality. But other than that, like he's gonna have to go over him, and to Steph's point, hopefully he kept some of that strength that he gained, even though he lost the weight. Right. Because
and second chance he might have.
Yeah. And I mean, he's a quick jumper. He's faster. He has a bunch of advantages, but the things that used to hinder Mitch, it seems like this guy has all of that. He's strong and pretty wide. He could shoot the three, and he got some moves in the paint. Yeah. So
yeah, Mitch has got to jump over this guy right though. Yeah, Tony, just, you know, the thing is that Mitch has got to jump over this guy. He's not a leaper, so
Right.
That's the place that Mitch should eat. Those alley oops in the
Right.
paint and putbacks. So
Right.
Any playmaking ability? I don't remember with Garza.
he can pass out of the paint, but it's not like a common thing that they do for him. They don't run plays through him.
Okay.
So
Yeah. Okay. And my Thrive Fantasy matchup of the night, ladies and gentlemen, is Julius Randle and Sadiq Bey. This is the Thrive Fantasy matchup of the night. And if you go to thrivefantasy.com or download the app on your phone, make a deposit, you'll receive 100%. Let me say this again. You will receive a 100% match of your first deposit up to $100. And you have different types of daily fantasy games there, ladies and gentlemen. You have player props, and then you have different daily games that you can play where you choose your 10-man lineup based on their over-under. Get a chance to win. So that's thrivefantasy.com. And our Thrive Fantasy matchup of the night, again, is Julius Randle and Sadiq Bey. Julius Randle, in his last 5 games, he's averaging 20.4 points per game, 11.2 rebounds per game. Right now, he's not really shooting that well from the field. He's shooting 40.4% from the field and 28.1% from three, while only shooting 70.8% from the free throw line. Now, Sadiq Bey, in his last 5 games, he's averaging 22 points per game, 6.6 rebounds per game, 2.8 assists per game, and he's shooting 43% from the field and 35% from three, while also shooting 91% from the free throw line. I'm concerned about this matchup. I think that Sadiq Bey is strong, so he can defend Julius Randle because I think he's strong. Mm-hmm. And he can take Randle out on the perimeter. I don't think Randle does a good job guarding guys out on the perimeter. Guys that can shoot the three, you know what I mean? Because his rotations just aren't crisp, just not sharp. You know what I'm saying? Once that ball swings and he sees his guy out on the three-point line, he'll look that way and then turn around and get the rebound instead of really closing out. Sometimes he'll decide to close out. Other nights, he just looks. So I'm concerned about this matchup because Sadiq Bey can shoot the basketball. Tony, I'll start with you. Thoughts about this matchup, Julius Randle and Sadiq Bey, the Thrive Fantasy matchup of the night.
I'm rocking with Randle. I think Sadiq is gonna have to have a career game to outplay Randle tonight, and Randle's due for a good game. So I think Randle puts it together tonight.
I hope so. He is due for a good game. We'll see, but he's definitely due for one. Andy, thoughts on this matchup?
You guys telling about we're talking about Randle due for a good game, like I was talking about Fournier being due for a good game, and it took me like 5 or 6 games for him to get one. So
I mean, Randle's had at least 1 or 2 in the last couple.
Yeah,
he hasn't had a big game in a while, but he's due.
Yes, and the only problem with this is like you said, if Randle has to be the engine for the whole Knicks team. This is the thing that I was talking with Steph, over and over and over for weeks now, probably, Steph, right? that he has to lead by
disagree on.
Yeah, he has to lead by example, and he has to stay up on Sadiq Bey, because if there's going to be a player that we're not going to be surprised that's going to get 25 or 30 this night, it's going to be Sadiq Bey. So, he can score from 3, he can go in the paint, he can score from mid-range. Listen, we last time we played him, Sadiq Bey didn't have a great game versus Randle. I would love to see, a similar outcome, but this time I think Sadiq Bey is like, listen, just give me the ball. He has nobody else on that team, his cachet and his, with his scoring ability currently on the active guys on the Pistons. So I wouldn't be surprised if he takes like 25 shots tonight. And, if a shooter like that is going to have 25 shots, he's going to probably score 25 points at least, unless he really, really has a bad game shooting wise. But it can also be the other way around. So
Yeah. Steph, your thoughts on this?
Yeah. First, I want to say that Thrive does actually match your money. I put my money up and they matched it 100%. So if you're
There you go.
wondering if it's true, it is with the MBK promo code. Um, how tall is Sadiq Bey? He's not very tall, right?
6'7", 6'7".
6'7". Okay, he's not that short either. I mean, I think it's gonna be asking a lot of Randall. He's gonna be. We need him to score for us, and we need him to shut down Sadiq Bey where there's not a lot of options, and he's gonna be take a lot of shots. So I think if Randall has to play every minute on Sadiq Bey, I don't think he's going to be that great, that effective. So I think Tibbs is going to have to find other people to put on Sadiq Bey as well. Randall shooting 28% from the three, and that includes a 6 for 9 against Atlanta. So he's really not shooting the ball well
Right.
from the 3-point lines. Not stopping him though. But he's still taking it. And then also my concern with Randall's is if they play a zone. Last night when they played the zone, he got the ball right in the sweet spot in the middle in that foul line. Instead of just turning around and take the shot, he dribbles into the defense.
Yeah.
It happened also on the 3-point line. It was a pick and roll with Fournier. Fournier did a behind the back pass to Randall. Okay, you want to take one step in and take the shot? Fine. He dribbled right into the to the defense. So, if he's quick, if he's quick, if he's efficient, we got a better chance. And if he plays okay defense on Sadiq Bey, we got a chance. But if he's really lazy and he's turning the ball over and he's making mistakes and he's not efficient, Sadiq Bey is going to win this matchup.
Yeah, I hear you on that. Andy?
Yeah, I just wanted to, add because when I was watching the game, yesterday's game, when Randall, let's say he had a mediocre game, an interesting thing that Wally said that, Randall shouldn't take more than 2 dribbles. And I think I would be happy with that kind of rule, being brought in the Knicks offense. Right. And it's not only because, sometimes I see that Randall is, forcing it and stuff like that. But that, after 2 dribbles, like Wally mentioned, then the double teams come, then the defense adjusts, and they have that time. So those 2 dribbles and pass or pull up, I would be really happy if he implemented that kind of, playing style, at least for a couple of games, so we can see the difference in the offense and the offensive flow and the whole thing.
Yeah. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, this is your Thrive Fantasy matchup of the night. Again, go to thrivefantasy.com or download the app, deposit whatever you're going to deposit, and Thrive Fantasy will match 100% up to $100. You got player props, you got over under. Go check it out. You might like it, ladies and gentlemen. And I did want to say, though, who was it? Somebody, I just seen somebody in the chat say, that my matchup of the night is always Julius Randle. It's not always Julius Randle, but it just so happens that a lot of nights it is Julius Randle because, the opposing team's best player is a power forward. What do you want me to do? I don't control it. I don't control that. I just do what's there, ladies and gentlemen. You know what I mean? I just do what's there. But whoever said that in the chat, and I don't remember who it was, my Julius Randle check did, it cleared today.
Just tell him.
It cleared.
Just tell him money talks.
Yeah, money talks. Money talks, man. Money talks. You know what I mean? What you want me to do? Money talks. Also, I want to get your guys' thoughts on this because the over-under tonight on Thrive Fantasy for Kemba Walker is to get 3.5 assists. What's your over-under on 3.5 assists for Kemba Walker tonight?
Over.
I'd give him 4. Yeah, I'll give him 4.
Huh?
He better
Gotta get 4.
Listen, he better have at least 4 versus a team like this. Frank Jackson on him. I think I remember Frank Jackson from his Pelicans day. He was giving us troubles and fits back then. But listen, if he doesn't have 4 assists versus, and I know that he averages probably less than that on the season. But
Yeah, I think he
versus the
does.
Pistons, man, come on.
He had 2 last night. He had 2 assists last night.
Yeah, but last night was an ugly game. That was an ugly game. I'm happy we pulled it out because, you know, those sometimes those wins mean more than when you have, you know, all shots dropping and stuff like that. So that was a good game for me, at least as far as I see it. But listen, he has to have at least 4.
I mean, I would take the over. I think that he should get at least 4 assists, but you know, it's kind of chancy sometimes. If you know, the Knicks don't always hit shots. You know, and that's a big key.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? What about
maybe
you,
they're gonna look? Maybe they're gonna look for Kemba to get that 4 assists, like they were looking for him on Christmas Day for that triple double.
Yeah. What about you, Tony?
Yeah, I'll take the over. I think it shouldn't be that he should average more than 4. So I know he probably doesn't, but he should. Yeah, if I was gonna make the bet, which I just might, I'd go over.
And Steph, what about you?
Over.
He's got it. He's got to get it over. He's got to.
Yeah, I mean, during that 4-game stretch, it was like 5 assists, 12 assists, 8 assists.
Right.
Yeah, I'm just taking that. Yesterday was the bad game.
Okay, let's hope so. He's got to get it over.
And they took the ball out of his hand, like it was a conscious effort.
That's true.
To get the ball out of Kemba's hand.
It was
last game.
Right. They did a lot of trapping, playing him aggressively, trying to get the ball out of his hands. So, you know, we'll see if the Pistons even have the personnel to do that, you know, tonight.
Yeah.
The Timberwolves, they had the personnel because they were a gritty team. I got to give them that. They played real gritty last night.
Mm-hmm.
You know, looking at some of the numbers for tonight's game, and this is overall, so it's not the last 5 games or anything like that. This is just overall for the season. The Knicks are averaging 105.7 points per game. The Pistons, 100.7 points. And now they don't even have their main guys out there on the floor. Right? So, you know, the Knicks got to do a good job defensively tonight. The Knicks average 45 rebounds per game. The Pistons, 42.4 rebounds per game. The Knicks average 21.4 assists. The Pistons, 21.6. 7 steals for the Knicks, 8 for the Pistons. 5.4 blocks for the Knicks, 5 blocks for the Pistons. The Knicks normally take care of the ball, 12.6 turnovers. They did have 15 last night, though. The Pistons, around 15 turnovers per game. The Knicks shooting 43.7% from the field. The Pistons, 41.4%. The Knicks shoot 36% from 3. The Pistons shoot 31.1% from 3. Both teams around 79% from the free throw line. The Pistons average 43.2 points in the paint. The Knicks average 41.7. The Knicks, 14.9 second chance points, while the Pistons have 12.7 second chance points. And the Pistons, 11 fast break points per game, and the Knicks, 10.3 fast break points per game. You know, so that's the tail of the tape for the season, ladies and gentlemen, between these two teams. Now I want to get to some keys to the game and get you guys' thoughts on this. Number one, I think the Knicks have to bring energy. They got to avoid a letdown, right? They played a physical game last night. They won. Now they're traveling to Detroit. You know, you just can't let down emotionally and say, oh, you know, we're going to run through this team, because that's how you get beat. I think they got to bring energy, avoid the letdown. Don't play down to the competition. Try to continue to play at a high level. Win the matchups you're supposed to win. So Kemba, win your matchup. Evan Fournier, win your matchup. So even if R.J. Barrett and Julius Randle, if their matchups end up evening out, we got guys winning their matchups. Right? Avoid stretches of bad play. We see this every single game for the Knicks. You know, there's just a stretch where the Knicks don't play well. And then use more of the bench. Right? I think the bench is going to be key tonight. Even if the starters, you know, if we're a +5, I'm hoping that the bench can be a +12, +13. Right? Our bench, in my opinion, should really dominate this game. You know, we should dominate this game, man. When you look at who the Pistons have on the bench, it's going to be light, no doubt about it. I mean, all their players are out. So they're going to be light against the Spurs. Again, they had off the bench Shaq Diallo, Cassius Stanley, Jamarco Pickett, Delvitas Servidia. The Knicks bench should dominate. Obi Toppin, Quentin Grimes, you know, Taj Gibson, Emmanuel Quickly. You know, we should. I think our bench should win this matchup easy. You know, Steph, any thoughts or you want to add to the keys to the game or anything? I think you're muted, Steph.
I think you hit it on the head. The only thing I would add, you know, as well is hit your shots. You know, it's basically us. I mean, obviously we're playing against Detroit, but don't beat yourself. It's basically what I'm trying to say. Don't beat yourself by turning the ball over, unforced turnovers, forcing shots that don't need to be forced, taking bad shots. Don't beat yourselves, right? I don't think Detroit is going to offer us a lot of resistance. So if we play with a lot of energy, we're avoiding stretches of bad play, we should win the game, you know? So it's important that we also don't beat ourselves.
Yeah. Andy?
Yeah, I agree with Steph. You know, and the key matchup that you said is win your matchup. It's you know, listen, they got basically no cohesion on that team. You know, how many training sessions did they have together, both on offense and on defense? It's going to be, for them, it's going to be like a pickup game. You know, they don't know half of their teammates. So there's no consistency there. So when we win the matchups, I think we're going to be really fine.
Yeah. Tony?
Yeah, I just hope they make an example out of these guys. You know, this is a welcome to the NBA. I hope they give them that kind of moment for these young guys. I do not want to hear some guy's name that I've never heard before being called all night long because he's having you know, his moment.
Right.
So
right.
Today's motto should be not tonight.
Oh, there you go. Not tonight. Not tonight. I like that. I'm looking in the chat, man, and for the Thrive Fantasy over-under, people have Kemba Walker. 82% of the votes have Kemba Walker going over 3.5 assists tonight. So, ladies and gentlemen, you can go to thrivefantasy.com, choose Kemba Walker as your player prop, and there you go. Win a little bit of money. I think he's going over as well. We will definitely find out. Any other thoughts about this game tonight?
Just win.
I hope. Yeah, I hope it's not just win. I hope the starters play so well that they don't even play the second half. I know that's not likely with Tibbs, but I hope that, you know, I hope they play that well that we get to see these young guys and them continue to show their growth and perform.
Yeah, me too. Any other thoughts on tonight?
The only other thing is that I think Tibbs is also trying to get some chemistry. So I know a lot of times we want him to expand the rotation and do things of that sort, but how much chemistry does these, you know, guys really have, you know?
Right. Yeah. Andy?
Yeah, I'm with Tony that I would rather see the young guys, but it's like Steph said, and we saw that last season. No, we would never expect, you know, that kind of a lineup to get those kind of a results, right? But after, you know, playing, you know, Alfred was the second season, the play was way better. You know, Randall, you know, picked up his game after the first season that we wanted to trade him. The next season he was playing, you know, superb, basically. And I'm not gonna, you know, discharge, you know, Randall's individual skill, but I think, you know, plenty of that thing could be attributed to cohesion and you know, familiarity of these guys together, playing together. So sometimes it's really good to get that chemistry up because not only skill is going to win you the games, but if you know where to pass the ball because the guy likes to shoot it from there, it's also a big prop.
Yeah. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, I appreciate you checking out the Game Day pregame show. For all your most up-to-date sports content and betting odds, make sure you go to thegameday.com. There's a link tagged right there in the YouTube chat. You can also go to the link in the description of this video, ladies and gentlemen. They got everything there. All of your favorite sports betting sites, all of the betting odds are right there. So go check it out. Choose your best odds. Make an informed decision. Go to thegameday.com, ladies and gentlemen. We're out of here. We'll catch you tonight after the game. The game starts at 7 p.m. Don't forget about it. 7 p.m. tonight. All right, so it's a little bit earlier. I'm pretty sure Gmo is going to be on doing a stream, watch along tonight. He'll probably get on about 6:30. Normally gets on like a half an hour beforehand. So go to YouTube, type in Legion of Knicks, and it'll come up, ladies and gentlemen. Check out Gmo on Legion of Knicks. Check us out on the post-game show, I guess about 10 o'clock, somewhere around there. And we'll wrap it up. I appreciate your time. Be peaceful. And I'm out of here, ladies and gentlemen.
This is NBK, nothing but Knicks. When Sim passed the assist, you know that it's #1 show that breaks down the game. If you can't play defense, stay out my way. Dribble the ball, come down the lane. 5 seconds on the shot clock. Who gon' win us the game? You wanna hear Nick updates and trade rumors? Post-game reviews, this the place you tune in. So tell a friend just to keep the ball moving. Like the page if you feeling the movement. Every game we coming to win. Give us a sub like a player that came off the bench. This is NBK, nothing but Knicks.